Well, thanks for watching me again on this another watercolour demonstration. Before I start, just a quick whiz through the materials. We've got ultramarine, cad yellow, Payne's grey, alizarin crimson, raw sienna, burnt umber and light red. Main brush is the large Ron Ranson Hake, and I'm using 15x11 Fabriano watercolour paper. So we start off with a big brush, and this is just clear water all over the paper. This will just lubricate everything, stop it getting all crinkly and soften off a lot of the background so we don't get all the hard edges. I'm going to start off with a bit of cad yellow. Bring that right the way down, I think. All the way down to the bottom. I'm going to add a little bit of, just dip the very tips in, just to bring the hairs back together on the brush. A bit of raw sienna in there, and then add a bit more in there. Just trying to create a bit of variation. A bit more yellow, a bit more cad red, cad yellow, and raw sienna rather. Then I'm going to clean the brush and add a bit of blue. So this is just ultramarine. A few dips and dabs here. Put it down there like that. And then I'm going to come down into the water area. Water's going to be quite high up, almost up, maybe beyond the centre of the paper. I'll see how it goes. See how it goes. A bit more there. That has dried a bit quicker than I was expecting, really, what I was hoping for. I should have wet it a bit more. That's not a problem, still work with that, no problems. So that's a sort of background flavour to it. I'm switching to a number 3 rigger now. And this is just ultramarine and cad yellow. And I'm going to start, we're going to do something like that. And I'm just bashing in really quick. Distant trees, and then pulling down the reflections into the water below. Water line is going to be somewhere around the centre. I'll see how it goes. Somewhere over there. There's not much happening over there. I'm going to have a big tree there, so I won't worry too much about the trees there and the reflections. It's mainly on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do now is clean this brush, and I'm just going to squeeze the water out of it, straight into the jar, soak up that at the bottom of the page, take the excess off on the tea towel, and I'm just going to go just quite a dry brush into the yellow. I'm just going to work out exactly where these banks are, so it's going to go quite high up there, I think, and come down there like that. Like that, and then it's going to swing round there. You can use that white there to sort of create sort of light reflections, I think. It's going to come down. I always try and make sure the two river sides are sort of not equal, so that one comes down to about there, so I'm going to bring this one a little bit lower. I don't like symmetry in paintings. Oh, not in mine anyway. I'm sure it looks very nice in some places, but I prefer like sort of nice random effects. You can see how the paper's coming away from the board. It's stretched slightly, so I'm just going to unloose these two right hand clips. Pull the paper tight so it's flat against the 9mm piece of plywood I use. Just cut to shape, and that's not chance. That I cut it that wide just so that it clips just right. So next I'm going to have a few more background trees, I think. And all the time the paper is drying slightly, so this should go on a little bit stronger. So I'm going to the same two colours, a bit of yellow, a bit of blue, so we're creating sort of distant green, and this. Then pull down the reflections, and this time I'm putting a few little twigs and branches and things growing. Don't forget to reflect them in the water. That brings your water to life, all the reflections. There's very little paint on the brush now, so I know I can go into these sort of delicate areas just round here and just get some very light things growing here and there, some over there. Right, let's get this on a bit thicker. It's coming down there a bit more like that. Just a touch of blue there, just to, so it just changes it, just added a touch of ultramarine to it. And so with them in, just putting, reflecting down, well, I've got above it, just have a bit more, something like that. Something going on up there, I think. Well, time for some big ones now, I think. Let's get the big trees in there. Now for these, I'm just dipping the hairs into the water. Just the very tips, just to bring all the hairs together like that, and then I'm just taking it off on the jar like that. And removing any further excess on the tea towel. So I've just got a nice sort of damp brush. Then I'm going to a bit of burnt umber, a bit of ultramarine. You can see how the hairs are sort of staying together as I'm going into these colours. Because there's just enough water on there, but not loads sort of swishing around a palette, so I can always generally certainly pat it over and there's no water coming out of it. So these ones now, so we're going to, one up there like that. I'm going to pull the reflections down as I'm doing them, so I don't forget to do them. I don't want them all nice and symmetrical, so I'll put one cutting across there like that. One up there like that. Let's put a few little twigs and things on them. So I'm just going to have a little. Just using the rigger just to put a few little twigs coming off there. Got some things just coming down off the, sort of growing out of sight. Again, don't forget your reflections. Don't have to be bang on, as long as they're there or thereabouts, it gives the impression of water. Now, I just want to let's just emphasise where this riverbank is. I might have a little bit of light red just to liven it up a little bit. A little bit of blue just to darken it, so and then just get a little bit more, just pop something in there, just to I've got a little bit more water on this brush than I was meant to, but I'll do for now. Now on this side we've got a big tree trunk that's going straight up there. Now because I want to go dark, I ain't going to bother cleaning the brush. I'm just going burnt umber, bit of ultramarine. There's enough water in there just to hold the hairs together. Generally don't use more than that, just enough water just to hold the hairs close together. And then I'm going to go, this one's coming down, see I don't want it the same level as that, I want to bring it down a bit. So it's going to be about there and it's just going to go up there like that. A bit more pains, let's get it a bit wider than that, even wider. It's right down there like that. We've got a reflection down there. Right, let's clean that a little bit. It's a little bit lighter. So let's just put a couple of twigs on there. I'm just going brown, blue. Plenty of water, plenty of paint. And then it's coming down now like that, going straight into this light area. Someone else going up off this side. That'll do. Right, let's have a little bit more something going on down there. That's coming down the paper. Just coming a little bit lower. Just work out where these riverbanks are. Just clean that. I want to go a bit lighter, so back into that cad yellow, a bit of raw sienna, maybe just a light red as well. Let's push it across there. Bit of ultramarine just to darken that. And what I might do is just pop a little bit of a few little rocks here, so it's just, and they're getting smaller and smaller as they're going away. I'll put a few on this side as well. First, trying to make sure this paper's flat against the board, and then I'll scrape a few more rocks on the left hand side of the bank. I want the effects of the sort of light coming down here, so to catch the light on the light hand side I'm going to have to do these left handed, something like that, so the light's coming down here, it's just catching them on this and that side there. Let's just get a really clean damp brush. I'm just squeezing the water out, or you could take it in your tea towel, squeeze it out like that, just straighten the ears up like that. And then I'm just going to pull some of these. So I'm just pulling the paint that's already on the paper, just to create sort of ripples. Very easy to overdo it. So I'm trying to be very careful. Just do a few on this side as well. But I'm keeping it very straight, parallel with the bottom of the paper. Just put that one across there like that. Yeah, I think I'm nearly there. I think what I want now, I'm going to switch to the smallest brush I've got. And I just want to dark mix, doesn't matter what it is, and I'm going to stick a little bird flying through our scene down there, and then finally, again, just dark colour, anything. I'm just going to stick my name in the corner. I'm going to call this one finished. So let's put a mount on it and see what it looks like. So here's our painting in the mount. So if we go and have a closer look at it, I know a lot of the paints I do tend to be very sort of dark and not very colourful. So I've tried to keep this one sort of light and fresher. I mean, I don't know if you preferred it or not. You'll have to let me know in the comments. So the background, sort of raw sienna, cad yellow, all the way down to the bottom. And then there was a bit of ultramarine to suggest the sky in between the trees. You can just about see. You can see I mentioned where the paint had dried, the paper dried before I got these water bits in. But I think it works quite well. You get the sort of light there reflecting from this sort of lit area there in the sort of centre distance, reflecting off the water. Don't look too bad, I don't think. You can see the trees from the darkest foreground ones here right through to the most distant ones, put in while the paper was still wet using the rigger brush. Just about see some of them there in the background. I'll create this sense of depth, and then I was pulling them down, reflections in the water as I was going along. You can see the odd one here amongst the background trees, but the right hand side dominated by this big diagonal tree. Just see a little bit of reflection there in the water. You can see where I've sort of darkened this riverbank slightly, just so that I could scrape in a few rocks all the way along into the distance. A few more rocks on this right hand side as well. Just scraped in very simply with a piece of card, sort of scrape them in once, then just leave them alone. If you faff about with them, you'll just ruin it. Just giving the impression of the sort of light coming through, just reflected on the left hand side there with a sort of shadow area on the right. And then just our little simple little bird put in using a tiny little brush, just to, I'll just give him the whole scene to himself. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoy that. I'm going to carry on painting now. You'll be able to see that one over on Patreon if you'd like to join me over there. But for now, thanks for watching. Keep practicing. Any questions, please ask, and I'll see you again soon.